Hospitality. So we look at the hospitality industry, as I mentioned, it's not the way it was when I first started working, where, if you went in, maybe you got a megabit, maybe you got 5 megabits of connectivity with that Ethernet jack in your hotel room, and you certainly did not have any connectivity in the lobbies or in the bars or in the restaurants within, or the conference rooms even. In this environment, the WaveTunnel comes to the rescue, upgrading those networks and improving them vastly. So hospitality is at the forefront of the digital revolution. What your new applications that didn't exist even 5 years ago, near field physical security with smart door locks and mobile phones. I can now use my phone to check into my hotel to open my door. Persona-based sensor configuration. So once I go into the room, the hotel knows I'm a frequent stayer. It knows what I like my temperature like. It knows what channels I want on the TV. And all of this is based on a network that's providing information back to the main center as to who you are and what you like. Visual security, cameras, sensors, cordless point of sale systems, and augmented reality, virtual reality, video gaming arcades. All of these things are now being offered by hotels, and they all require connectivity. That's just that's the way it is today in the hotels we visit today. Still need to provide the legacy services. You still need to provide basic internet access, and you still want to you'll still have the business office where people can go print things or have meetings. But all of it requires a network. And most of the networks, unless that hotel was built in the last couple of years, are not prepared in terms of performance of the network or where that network is. So our value proposition, some of them similar: multi-gigabit, expand the coverage, additional revenue from live streaming guests on sites, guest services or events. Maybe you're having a Christmas party, or maybe you're having a convention, or maybe you're just having an offsite in that hotel. You're going to want to be able to get connectivity there. And all of this needs to be secure. Again, security is a key component of the WaveTunnel value proposition with our triple layer security that we offered that I mentioned previously. So what might a network look like? So here we are, lobby and common areas. You can see down on the lower right, we have conference rooms. Up ahead, we have open areas, more conference rooms. This might be the first floor, the second floor of a hotel, and you need to provide that connectivity. With Airvine, it's simple. You deploy the WaveTunnel networks nodes, and away you go. When you want to remodel your hotel, or you want to move your furniture around, or you want to do some more serious remodeling construction, no need to rip out the cables and reinstall and do all that work. You just take the WaveTunnel nodes you have and redeploy them. What about the rooms themselves? So what we do in this example, what we're showing are two things. We're showing a corridor for a hotel. And what you'll have is, if you look at the top WaveTunnel node, you see that this blue line, this is a connection from the node to the Wi-Fi access points within its reach. The WaveTunnel has PoE out, so you can supply power and connectivity to those access points, and then you backhaul them, that's the red and the green lines that we see, into the next node. Now you'll notice that bottom left node is at an angle. So this is where we're beaming around corners. That beam is coming in at a 45-degree angle to the node in the corner, and it's going out at another 45-degree angle to the node to the right, providing that connectivity. Between that, you've basically gone around that corner in a 90-degree bend. We've got WaveTunnels in the corridors. You can have the access points in the room, as we're shown here. Some hotels have the access points in the corridors, which is an even simpler deployment. But again, the WaveTunnel networks, there's no conduit, there's no drilling into plaster walls. There's just simple, quick, and easy, elegant, and attractive deployment. Let's do a little bit of a study. Let's look at this from an actual case study. If you look at this and see with the project, we're upgrading a hotel. They're going to have 32 Wi-Fi access points across the floor that are going to connect into a head end. There's 5 floors, and the work can only be done in the off hours. Well, if you look on the right diagram, you see the wired solution. You see a switch in the middle. You see wires going to each one of these access points in every room. So 32 access points per floor, 32 cable runs. That's the way it goes. In addition, with this switch, you now have to provide a temperature controlled, locked room so that it can be secured. And all of this costs about 4 man-weeks to do, almost a mile worth of cable. And you've got to run the conduits for that. There may be optical components to connect the MDF to the IDF. With the WaveTunnel, 1 man-week, no IDF, no HVAC or locked room for a wiring closet, no professional skills needed, 128 man-hours of labor saved. Time is money, and you can install the access points and the WaveTunnel at the same time. When you look at a very high level cable, over $700,000 in 5 weeks. WaveTunnel, under $200K in a week. That you can see is a direct comparison as to the alternatives if you're going to rewire your hotel versus using WaveTunnel.